Hello everyone and welcome back to this fifth lesson for the A1 level course. I just wanted to quickly mention that after this video, we will move on to level A2. We will circle back around to level A1, but I did want to give you some early warning. So we'll see you on the next one. In today's lesson, we're going to discuss plurals. So what do you say when you have more than one of something? There's a lot of rules, there's a lot of exceptions. So I've prepared a lot of examples, but don't be discouraged. It's easy. We'll get through this. We will cover everything you need to know in this short lesson. So let's get started. The first rule that you need to know about is that to make most nouns, most regular nouns into the plural form, all you need to do is add an S to the end of the noun. So for example, car, cars. Another example, book, books. And one last example for this rule, robot and robots. Right? So the first rule is pretty simple. We just add the S at the end. Now here's where it starts to get a little bit more complicated. The second rule, when nouns end in S, CH, SH, X, or Z, you add ES to the end of the noun. So when a noun ends in S, it looks like it may already be a plural, but in this case it's a singular. So you don't say lenses, you say lenses. When a noun ends in CH, we just add the ES just like the last one, so watch becomes watches. Next example, dish, and same thing. You have dish, and in the plural, dishes. Simple. When the noun ends in X, like box, box becomes boxes. And when it ends in Z, like quiz, it becomes quizzes. But take a quick look at quizzes. It has two Z's. So this isn't always the case. There are some words like topaz, for example, topases is one Z. But don't worry too much. Luckily, not a lot of words end in Z, so there's not too many that you need to memorize. Okay, so the next rule. When a noun ends in a consonant and then the letter Y, you replace that Y with IES. So for example, company becomes companies. Company in the plural is companies. Lady becomes ladies. Right? Penny becomes pennies. Right? So we replace the Y with IES. Penny, pennies. It's pretty simple. Okay, so for the next rule, rule number 4, when the noun ends in a vowel and then the letter Y, we just add the letter S. Okay, so key becomes keys. Day becomes days. Rule number 5, when the noun ends in F or FE, we replace that F or FE with VES. Okay, so leaf becomes leaves. Leaf becomes leaves. Wolf in the plural is wolves. Life, life ends in FE, life becomes lives. Knife in the plural is knives. Okay, so that's it for all the rules, but we're not done just yet. Hang on for a couple more minutes and we're going to talk about the irregular nouns. These nouns don't follow any of the rules, so let's check them out. The first example that we have is man. Man in the plural is men. Man in the plural is men. Woman becomes women. Another irregular verb that we have is child and then children. Child singular, two or more children. This one is one that a lot of English learners have problems with. The plural of person is people, not persons. Right? So one person, two or more people. Right? Another irregular noun, mouse. So the plural form of mouse is mice. There is some discussion with English speakers about the word mice as it relates to the computer peripheral. Some people think it may be mouses, other people say it's mice. People in the field tend to use the word mouses, but it is perfectly correct to say mice. Whichever you choose, either one is fine. And the last irregular noun example that I have for you is foot and feet. But there are quite a few more of these. Tooth and teeth is another very, very common one, right? So there's no rule. And, that's why we call them irregular. All right. And last but not least, there are also a bunch of no change nouns, right? These are nouns where the singular and the plural form are both the same. Okay, so sheep is sheep. One fish, two fish, three fish, fish. News is news. So even if all you have is one piece of news, you never want to say, I have some new for you, right? It's always going to be, I have some news for you, right? Never new. And the last one, series. This is a word that a lot of people know now because of streaming services like Netflix. But whether it's one series or 4 series that you're currently watching, series, either way, singular or plural. All right, and that's all for the lesson. Now let's take a look at the section quizzes for this week. We have 2 section quizzes. In this first one, I need you to complete these sentences with the correct plural form of the noun, right? The noun is in the parentheses. Go ahead and pause here if you need extra time to complete these exercises. But let's get on with the answers. For number 1, I have 2 dogs. For number 2, the babies are crying. For number 3, she bought 3 tomatoes at the grocery store. For number 4, we saw 5 deer in the woods. Deer is another one of these that don't change. And for number 5, the children are playing in the park. Let's take a look at the second quiz for this lesson. For this quiz, we're going to choose the correct plural form of the noun in the parentheses. Okay, so once again, go ahead and pause here if you need more time to answer. But let's go ahead. And number 1, I have, my sister has 2 cats. For number 2, the knives are sharp. For number 3, I saw 3 mice in the garage. Number 4, there are 6 women in the room. And number 5, the men are working hard. Okay, so all of these are plural. We just need to choose the correct form of the word in the parentheses. Okay, so I want to thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.